But first things first, it is Music Monday. Now, some of you guys send me your music, which I appreciate a lot. It means a lot. And I do get to everything. Am I going to get to it the immediate following Monday that you send it in? Maybe not. Am I going to get to it the next day? I can pretty much guarantee I'm not going to do that. But I will get to it. I will listen to it. I will check it out. I will talk about it on the show. So I want to give a shout out to Terrence Kumpf. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but it's Terrence with one R, Terence, Kumpf, Kumpf, who is out of Buffalo, New York. Terrence submitted some music and submitted an article. So first of all, Terrence's music, which you can check out at his Bandcamp, which is just terrencekumpf.bandcamp.com. And again, that's TERENCEKUMPF.bandcamp.com. Sent me the track None for All. So this song, I listened to it and I really dug it. It is protest music. It is angry. It is confronting. Musically, it kind of reminded me of the Butthole Surfers and the Melvins in a really cool way. It kind of had a fuzz guitar, remnants of the 90s, with a pulsing drums. And it's the type of song where when you're blasting it, which I did, I blasted the tune None for All, you kind of feel like the FBI is going to knock on your door. And I mean that in a good way. Well, not the FBI knocking on the door part. You know what I mean? It's a protest song. It's confronting the powers that be. None for all. It's confronting corruption. And full disclaimer, they use some segments of the Jimmy Dore show in that song. They have some snippets of Jimmy talking. So, it probably makes me a little biased. But killer track, killer tune. Check out Terrence Kumpf. Amazing protest music. Grungy, pulsing. Has a kind of trance, atmospheric club type vibe going on as well. And I know that sounds like a weird fusion of sounds, but it works. It's a bit instrumental, a bit experimentation, also a bit grungy and rock and roll. Really cool stuff. Terrence Kumpf, TERENCEKUMPF. And that track is None for All. Because, one of the things that we talk about on this show, one of the things I've said on this show before, every revolution has its soundtrack. Terrence Kumpf, thank you for being part of the soundtrack. And you got a new fan in me. So thank you for sending me your music. Thank you for sending me your music. I really enjoy it. And I encourage everybody else to check it out as well. Because this gets to our story for Music Monday, which was submitted by Terrence as well. Chris Hedges agrees that the revolution should have its soundtrack. Check this out from Chris Hedges. The Israeli writer and dissident Ori Anvari asked an Egyptian general how the Egyptians managed to surprise the Israelis when they launched the October 1973 war. The general answered, instead of reading the intelligence reports, we should have read our poets. These artists who often, here we go, here's the quote that I really like. To grasp the savage economic and emotional cost of deindustrialization, the destruction of our democratic institutions, the dark undercurrent of nihilistic violence that sees us beset with mass shootings, the attraction of opioids, the rise of the militarized state, and the concentration of national wealth in a tiny cabal of corrupt bankers and corporations, it is necessary to turn to a handful of poets, writers, and other artists. These artists, who often exist on the margins of mass culture, are unheeded prophets. Something must be brought forward. Basically, the establishment makes a war on culture, and we need to look to our artists to get us out of this thing. Here's another quote. That's and this isn't from Chris Hedges. This is from someone Chris Hedges is quoting named Randall Giral. An artist's work and life presuppose continuing standards, values stretched out over centuries of millennia, a future that is the continuation and modification of the past, not its contradiction or irrelevant replacement. So let me end with that quote from Chris Hedges again, because this is a very, very powerful poetic way of saying every revolution has its soundtrack. Our artists and our poets are the ones that get us through, are the ones that cut through the thick of it and tell us the truth, and we need them. to grasp the savage economic and emotional cost of deindustrialization, the destruction of our democratic institutions, the dark undercurrent of nihilistic violence that sees us beset with mass shootings, the attraction of opioids, the rise of the militarized state, and the concentration of national wealth in a tiny cabal of corrupt bankers and corporations, it is necessary to turn to a handful of poets, writers, and other artists. These artists, who often exist on the margins of mass culture, are our unheeded prophets. Keep that in mind the next time you hear some mass-produced song with the same droning drum beat when you're out saying nothing. But keep in mind that the work is out there. And again, shout out to Terrence for sharing this article, and shout out to Terrence for his music. Check it out, terrencecrumpf.bandcamp.com. Let me spell that out for you again, TERENCEKUMPF.bandcamp.com. And the track I recommend starting with, None for All. And Chris Hedges agrees, every revolution needs its soundtrack.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your